South African Airways was once a symbol of national pride and African achievement, a flying ambassador for a country in transition. From its earliest days, SAA captured the imagination of South Africans, representing hope, progress, and a connection to the wider world. Its planes, adorned first with the iconic Springbok and later the vibrant national flag, became instantly recognizable at airports across the globe. SAA's distinctive livery was more than just branding. It was a statement of identity, resilience, and pride, connecting South Africa to distant continents and cultures. SAA wasn't just about travel, it was about projecting competence and modernity on a global stage. The airline staff, from pilots to cabin crew, were meticulously trained and known for their professionalism, embodying the best of South African hospitality and expertise. For many South Africans, seeing an SAA plane abroad was a powerful reminder of home and belonging. It was a source of comfort and pride, a familiar sight in unfamiliar lands, and a symbol of the nation's reach and influence. The airline set new standards for service and safety, becoming Africa's largest and most prestigious carrier. SAA was renowned for its attention to detail, from in-flight meals to passenger care, and for decades it was the benchmark for excellence in African aviation. SAA was a gateway for South Africans to the world, and for visitors to Africa. It opened doors to new opportunities, fostered cultural exchange, and played a vital role in connecting people and businesses across continents. It supported tourism, trade, and economic growth, employing thousands and training top aviation professionals. SAA's training academies produced generations of skilled workers, many of whom went on to shape the broader African aviation industry. The airline's success was deeply tied to the nation's identity, weathering political change and symbolizing the Rainbow Nation's promise. Through turbulent times, SAA remained a unifying force, reflecting the country's aspirations and its journey toward transformation. But this proud legacy makes its downfall even more heartbreaking. The decline of SAA was not just a business failure, it was a blow to the national psyche, a loss felt by millions who had grown up with the airline as part of their lives. SAA's collapse wasn't sudden, it was a slow, public unraveling of a national treasure. Years of mismanagement, financial woes, and political interference gradually eroded the airline's foundations, leaving it vulnerable and exposed. The pride once felt by employees and passengers turned to disappointment and frustration as the airline faltered. Loyal staff who had dedicated their lives to SAA faced uncertainty, while travelers mourned the loss of a trusted companion in the skies. Once a beacon of transformation, SAA became a cautionary tale of how quickly decades of achievement can be undone. The empty offices and grounded planes stood as stark reminders of what was lost. The airline's story is not just about business failure, but about a dream lost, a dream of unity, progress, and global recognition for South Africa. SAA's fall is a lesson in how neglect and poor decisions can destroy even the proudest institutions. It is a warning for the future, a call to protect and nurture what matters most. The dream that SAA represented for South Africa was ultimately deferred and destroyed. Yet, its legacy endures in the memories of those who flew, worked, and dreamed with the airline, reminding us of what once was and what could be again. SAA's problems didn't appear overnight. They were the result of years of mismanagement, poor leadership, and deep-rooted corruption that slowly eroded the airline's foundations. What was once a proud national carrier, admired across the continent, began to unravel as critical decisions were made for political gain rather than operational excellence. Political appointments replaced aviation expertise, undermining accountability and long-term planning. Seasoned professionals were sidelined, and those with little knowledge of the industry took the helm, steering SAA further off course. Corruption became systemic, with contracts inflated and tenders awarded to connected insiders. Backroom deals and kickbacks flourished, draining resources that should have gone into improving the airline. The state capture inquiry exposed how SAA was plundered for personal gain, revealing a web of deceit and self-enrichment at the highest levels. Billions meant for upgrades and reserves vanished, replaced by a cycle of government bailouts. Instead of investing in new aircraft or better service, funds disappeared into a black hole of mismanagement. These bailouts created dependency, removing any incentive for tough decisions. Executives grew accustomed to easy money, while the airline's problems only deepened. As losses mounted, the airline's quality declined, aging planes, cut routes, and falling service. Maintenance was deferred and once busy routes were abandoned, leaving loyal customers stranded. SAA lost its edge to more efficient rivals, and loyal passengers drifted away. The airline's reputation for reliability and comfort faded, replaced by frustration and disappointment. The brand became synonymous with delays, financial trouble, and scandal. Each headline chipped away at public trust, making recovery even harder. Instead of fixing root problems, the government kept pouring in money, draining public resources. Taxpayers watched as their money vanished, with little hope of a turnaround. The airline's slow descent became a public spectacle, discussed in homes and headlines alike, a cautionary tale of what happens when oversight fails. SAA was no longer a leader, it was just trying to survive, its future uncertain, its staff demoralized, and its legacy in jeopardy. The nosedive had begun, and there was no easy way out. The story of SAA became a warning of how even the mightiest can fall when vision is lost and accountability disappears. By late 2019, SAA was insolvent, drowning in debt despite endless bailouts. The government placed it into business rescue, a last-ditch effort to restructure and survive. Brutal cuts followed, jobs slashed, fleets grounded, and routes cancelled. Thousands of dedicated employees faced an uncertain future as the airline was dismantled. Then, the COVID-19 pandemic struck, devastating the global airline industry. For SAA, already on life support, it was nearly fatal. Borders closed, travel demand vanished, and cash flow stopped. The business rescue plan was constantly revised as the crisis deepened. SAA, once a connector to the world, became a ghost of its former self. Planes sat idle, gathering dust, while hope for recovery faded. The combination of financial collapse and pandemic left SAA crippled. The challenge shifted from restructuring to sheer survival. The airline's future was more uncertain than ever. SAA was battered, broken, and on the brink of disappearing. After the pandemic, the government sought salvation through privatization. The Takatso consortium was set to take a majority stake, promising capital and expertise. For 3 years, the deal was seen as SAA's lifeline. But delays, secrecy, and shifting terms eroded trust and credibility. In March 2024, the government abruptly raised the asking price, and Takatso walked away. The deal's collapse left SAA state-owned, with no new money and no clear path forward. Years of negotiations and hope evaporated overnight. The failure exposed deep mistrust between government and investors. SAA was back to square one, alone, underfunded, and adrift. The promised savior was gone, and the airline's future was in limbo. The collapse was a massive blow, wasting time and political capital. The failed Takatso deal raised serious questions about what happened behind closed doors. Parliament referred the matter to the Special Investigating Unit, SIU, tasked with probing corruption and maladministration. The SIU's investigation will scrutinize the entire negotiation process, asset valuations, and government decisions. This probe is about more than one deal. It's about a pattern of mismanagement at state enterprises. The hope is for real accountability and transparency at last. For the public, the investigation is both a relief and a reminder of deep-rooted corruption. Its outcome could mark a turning point, or just another chapter in a long saga of failed oversight. For SAA, it adds yet another layer of uncertainty. After the Takatso collapse, the government made a bold declaration: no more bailouts for SAA. This was a turning point, signaling the end of an era where the airline could rely on state support to stay afloat, no matter the cost or consequence. For years, SAA had been propped up by billions in taxpayer funds, but now, the message was clear: the airline must chart its own course, or risk disappearing altogether. The airline must now be financially self-sustaining, no more safety net. Every rand must be earned, every expense justified. The days of guaranteed government rescue are over, and the company faces the daunting challenge of surviving in a fiercely competitive industry. SAA's management faces a harsh new reality. Every decision must be commercially sound. There is no room for error, and every misstep could be fatal. The pressure to deliver results has never been greater, and the stakes have never been higher. The era of endless government rescues is over. The clock is ticking, and the world is watching to see if SAA can adapt to this new environment, or if it will become just another casualty of failed state enterprises. The airline, stripped of assets and staff, must survive on its own. Many employees have already left, and those who remain face an uncertain future. The company's resources are stretched thin, and every department is under scrutiny. Minister Gordon assured jobs were safe for now, but the long-term outlook is grim. The government's patience has run out, and the message to SAA's workforce is clear: adapt or face the consequences. SAA may use remaining assets as collateral, but its financial history makes this difficult. Lenders are wary, and the airline's reputation for losses haunts every negotiation. Raising capital will be a steep uphill battle. The debate over SAA's role, public service or business, has been settled by empty coffers. Ideals have given way to hard financial realities, and the airline's future will be determined by its ability to operate as a true business. Immense pressure now falls on leadership to craft a viable plan from the ashes. Every strategy, every forecast, and every decision will be scrutinized by both the public and the government. The world is watching. Can SAA fly solo, or is this the final dive? International observers, investors, and competitors are all waiting to see if the airline can reinvent itself and regain its place in the skies. The government's tough love approach is a gamble born of necessity. With public funds exhausted and political will fading, this is a high-stakes bet on SAA's ability to transform. SAA must prove it can survive without taxpayer money. The airline's fate now rests on its own performance, not on government intervention. The future of the national carrier hangs in the balance. SAA stands at a crossroads. Its next moves will determine whether it soars again or fades into history. With no bailouts or investors, SAA faces a desperate choice: sell its prized Heathrow slots. These slots are incredibly valuable, prime real estate in the sky. Selling them could bring a quick cash infusion, but at a steep long-term cost. The Johannesburg-London route was SAA's flagship. Selling slots is like pawning family heirlooms. Kenya Airways experience warns, selling slots weakens future competitiveness. Once gone, regaining Heathrow access is nearly impossible. SAA risks sacrificing its future for short-term survival. The airline has lost most of its best staff and long-haul fleet. Ambitious expansion plans seem unrealistic without new funding. SAA is trapped. It needs money to rebuild, but selling assets may doom its future. The dilemma highlights the bleak reality facing the airline. Every option comes with painful trade-offs. SAA's struggle is now about survival, not growth. SAA's crisis has deeply affected workers and divided the nation. Unions like SAF2 celebrated the failed privatization, seeing it as protection of a national asset. They argue SAA should serve the nation, not just chase profits. For unions, the airline's developmental role outweighs commercial concerns. But many taxpayers and business leaders are fed up with endless bailouts. They see SAA as a money pit, shielded from consequences by state support. The debate exposes a fundamental divide. Is SAA a business or a public service? Workers are caught in the middle, facing years of uncertainty and job cuts. Their loyalty is tested, and their voices remind us this is about more than numbers. The SAA saga is about livelihoods, identity, and South Africa's future. SAA's story is a national tragedy, a legacy destroyed by mismanagement, politics, and corruption. The consequences: lost jobs, wasted billions, and a tarnished reputation. The wreckage offers clear lessons for South Africa's other state-owned entities. Good governance and competent leadership are non-negotiable. Political interference and cronyism doom even the best institutions. Corruption and secrecy were at the heart of SAA's collapse. Public assets must be managed transparently to restore trust. Endless bailouts only delayed the inevitable reckoning. Sustainable success demands integrity, expertise, and accountability. Without these, even the proudest eagles will fall.